Hey guys, welcome. This is Healthy Life Designing, and I am your host, Darian Rolls. Today on the show, our topic is emotional intelligence. And our guest, she knows a lot about emotional intelligence, so much that she travels all over Ohio sharing what she knows with workshops, speaking events. She is Lisa White. She's an executive coach and a professional speaker and consultant. When we come back, we will have Lisa White here. She is with Integrated Leadership Systems, sharing all of the good stuff about emotional intelligence. More when we come back.
Hi, I'm Amanda Wattenberg, Regional Director at Ohio Guidestone. Do you or does someone you know have a substance abuse disorder? Have you been thinking about getting help, but don't know where to start? It takes a lot of courage to ask for help, but it's the most important step you can take. If you think you know everything that's available in Fairfield County, think again. Like other chronic diseases, addiction can be managed successfully. Treatment enables people to counteract addiction's powerful, disruptive effects on the brain's behavior and regain control of their lives. Even if it takes multiple attempts, treatment does work and people do recover from addiction every day. So keep trying because your life matters. You matter, and we're here to help. Call 211 and ask for the treatment resources available right here in Fairfield County.
This message is brought to you by the Fairfield County Adam H. Board.
Hey guys, we're back. This is Healthy Life Designing, and our guest is here, Lisa White, sharing about emotional intelligence. Thank you, Lisa, for being here.
Thanks for having me, Darian. I'm so excited to be here.
So a little bit of a background here. Lisa was it a workshop or just a speaking event that we met?
It's like a little mini workshop on emotional intelligence.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And I had gone and I caught the tail end of it. I was actually late, but I was still able to meet you and to speak with you. And I took in so much of even the little bit of information that I was able to get. But what is emotional intelligence?
It's basically, I would just want to conceptualize it a little bit first.
Okay.
And what it really is about helping leaders in particular become the best version of themselves. That's basically what we do at Integrated Leadership Systems where I work is it's really exciting actually and life-changing to see people grow and develop, but you need these tools along the way to help you become the best version of yourself.
Right.
So it's really about four things. It's about learning how to identify your emotions, use them and understand them and manage them in ways that are constructive and help you gain confidence.
Right. So what would be the first way to start identifying?
Well, there's four components, four domains, and this is straight from the book Emotional Intelligence 2.0 by Travis Bradberry.
Okay.
There are two self domains, and then there are two other domains.
Okay.
So the first thing is that we have to understand ourselves first. We can't do anything else until we understand where we are coming from.
Exactly.
So the self-awareness piece is crucial. And when we're doing a workshop, we really kind of hone in on that and we focus on that first. And that's about identifying your emotions and not really labeling them as something that's really good or bad. I think a lot of us tend to do that. We judge ourselves and we beat ourselves up when we're having them, but we're human.
Right. So if you're angry or you're sad, being in the moment with that emotion at that particular time, that's what you're saying.
Right.
Okay.
Right. We don't want to, just judge ourselves. We do want to recognize when we're having an emotion that is not helpful to us, so that we can change that and turn it into something that's more productive for us.
Okay.
And once we've done that, then we can start to use some of the self-management tools, which I love what you do, because a lot of the things that you do they're holistic and good for the body, that's all a part of self-management as well. But it also helps us to remain cool and collected, even when we're under pressure and getting ready to have difficult conversations with people.
Right.
We need those self-management tools in order to do that on a regular basis. And then once we are able to manage our emotions, then we can understand where other people are coming from, and that's where the social awareness tools are really effective. Social awareness is important in terms of understanding how somebody else is feeling. And especially if you're running a business, you need to have that in terms of customer service skills and really recognizing how to even anticipate what somebody else is needing before they even ask for it. Just by kind of reading a room and understanding what are the ripples of those emotions that you're feeling as a result of that. Once you understand what their emotions are, you can use that information to help them become more supported and
understood.
Yes. And that's the relationship management piece. People who are good at relationship management are people who are really transformational.
And can be leaders.
Yes, they can be leaders because they are good teamwork builders. They're change catalysts. They can have a difficult conversation with someone, but not step on their toes.
Because they're coming from a place of understanding their emotions in that given moment.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And so those are all of the steps.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so when you go to a workshop, what are you do little, so we did worksheets.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you did things where you had us get together in a small group and you would give us a particular situation and how to handle it in the workplace. Can you talk about some other things that you do? Because since I wasn't at the entire workshop, what are some of the other things that you do to help people identify or find these triggers?
Well, there's a cognitive behavioral approach, really, is what we use.
Okay.
And that's from psychologist Albert Ellis. And there's 4 steps involved in that. And it's an ABCD, we call it.
Okay.
A is the activating event, and these are things that happen to us outside in the world. Then we may or may not have control over these things that happen to us. D is also outside in the world, but it is our reaction to our activating event. Now B and C are within us. B is our belief systems about what's happening.
Okay.
And then C is our emotion. And when we're doing executive coaching with someone, we're really honing in on B and C.
Okay, can you give the viewers an example of something like this?
Yeah. Well, I did a workshop yesterday, and someone threw out the example of having somebody interrupt them during a conversation.
Okay.
And which can be kind of triggering, especially when you
it could be irritating.
Yeah, when you have a point to get across and somebody is cutting you off.
Yeah.
So your belief that is actually the activating event, is the interruption.
Okay. And that's your trigger.
Yes. And then, but B is your belief systems about what's happening.
Okay.
If you immediately are thinking, man, this person is just being a jerk, your emotion is going to usually be like annoyance or anger or impatience. But if you can change it to something else that is more productive, because that belief system probably is not helping you in that relationship with them. It's not helping you with your the task that you may be trying to complete with that person.
Okay.
So you want to hone in on why is this person interrupting me? Could it be that they're afraid that I'm going to miss their point? Maybe I'm oversharing, maybe I'm talking too much and they feel like they have to jump in because they're not going to get a chance.
Right.
So the key is this really just having good intent with someone. I think that is the key to changing your belief system. But ultimately, when you do that, it changes the outcome. It changes your D's. You're going to get a much more positive result, a much more constructive result with someone if you're coming from a place of good intent rather than coming from a place of suspicion or anger.
Okay. What would you do, or what would you recommend for, say I know someone that I think they don't have a lot of emotional intelligence. What are some things that that person can do to enhance that, to better themselves with just emotional intelligence? Is there a few different things that you could recommend that they could apply in their everyday living, or just a few simple tips?
In executive coaching, we challenge people to do a lot of journaling.
Okay.
And
I love journaling.
You love journaling?
I love
Not
journaling.
everybody loves journaling.
I do. It's a great addiction.
We would love you in terms of coaching, because it really helps you kind of unpack a lot of that stuff. When you are feeling stuck, it helps you to kind of think about it step by step and create action steps for yourself, but it also reinforces self-accountability. We can't change without that self-awareness.
Right.
But, and also I think that another tool is, especially if you yourself are searching for more emotional intelligence, you want to ask others how they are perceiving you.
Feedback.
Yeah.
Honest feedback.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we do 360 assessments.
Okay.
And that's where you evaluate yourself on your leadership
That's
skills.
a tough one.
Yeah, but then other people are also evaluating you.
Okay.
And it can be very eye-opening.
Oh, and it can be, a sweaty situation, having to get, down and dirty and find the real you underneath all of the other stuff. And, allowing to be vulnerable to what others are saying is a huge thing too.
Yeah, but you have to be open to it. Not everybody is ready for it.
No.
And you really do have to have a sense of willingness to change first. We hear that all the time, like change is really kind of a hard thing to swallow. But especially if we can't keep going through the same thing expecting to get different results.
Right.
If we are stuck in the same kind of dysfunctional patterns, especially like in our personal lives or at work, then we may need to take note of what other people are saying, especially if more than one person is saying
the same thing about you. Right. Okay. Okay, guys, when we come back, we are going to be talking about some of the triggers that get you fired up and might make you negative, nasty, or angry. And Lisa is going to share how to figure out those triggers. More when we come back.
At Dagger Law, we have more than 110 years of combined expertise in nearly every part of law.
What I think sets us apart from any other law firm is our ability to work together.
With us, you're getting a trusted partner, in addition to a team who can help you with a growing business, changing family, planning your future, or dealing with land issues.
It's a challenge every day, and you meet an awful lot of nice people.
Your case matters. We'll take the time and the energy to ensure that you have a quality experience, quality representation.
Whatever you need, we have a lawyer who can help. Dagger Law. Local, trusted, experienced. The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
So Lisa, can you kind of break down, we mentioned triggers earlier, but how do you find the triggers and breaking it down? And I know you mentioned earlier that it's related to finding out the type of stress or what gets you stressed.
Yeah, triggers are funny things. They're different for each person, and within the work environment, there's a lot of them. We were just doing a workshop yesterday, and people were talking about deadlines. And that's one of the things that gets people hot under the collar.
Oh, yeah.
Or staffing problems, where you're trying to get the right people in the right positions, but then people are calling off, or you may think that they're the right fit at first, but then you find out after they're in that position that they may not have the knowledge or skills or abilities to be in that particular job, which can cause others within the team to feel misaligned and to feel pressure as a result of trying to make up for this other person that may not have the right skill set. And part of that too is recognizing when you're triggered and what you can do about it. Because a lot of these are just signals. These are signals that tell us that something isn't quite right. It's motivating us to act and to do something about it. It's a normal part of living, really, when you think about it.
Right.
But basically what we teach is that there's a normal progression between how your emotional state is and what your productivity is. And when you are starting to feel stressed, it's actually helpful to you to a certain degree because it helps you to get things done. It can give you more focus, and when you've reached that peak performance, it's actually your optimal level of arousal state. But when your nerves start to take over, that's your performance level starts to go down, and that's a result of stress and anxiety.
Okay.
So the difference between stress and anxiety is basically how we perceive it and what we are doing with those signals that we see. It's also what we're telling ourselves. It's the ABCD. If we're telling ourselves that this is overwhelming, or I can't focus, or if your self-talk is negative, then again, it's not only going to color your outcome, but it's also going to...
You're going to go over that hump into anxiety mode.
Anxiety, yeah. Because like certain jobs require, you're doing this all day. You know, that's like acute stress where you're hitting certain targets every day. You're being evaluated based on that performance. And, you know, you have to have that go-getitiveness to hit that certain target. But that negative self-talk actually can lead you into what we call chronic stress, because if everything is stressful, because your negative talk is telling you that, then you're feeling the negative pressure regarding every circumstance, every challenge that you face, which can actually start to affect your health
physically.
Yeah, they actually did studies that say that it's not like they used to think that all stress kills you. No, it's like it's what you're telling yourself about the stress.
I like that
actually
a
kills
lot,
you.
because it is. It's always in your head.
Yeah.
Everything goes back to that, and it's nice to hear that it's broken down, because I feel sometimes that it's, oh, I have so much anxiety. Oh, why do I have so much anxiety? I have anxiety, or the holidays.
Yeah.
I hear myself saying, I'm stressed because it's the holidays, or I have so much anxiety because of the holidays. Why is it that I have this anxiety and stress around the holidays?
It's that is a form of eustress. It's because, the holidays is really something that we're looking forward to, but it also is...
It triggers something.
It triggers something because it's it's budgeting, it's planning, it's organization. It's like a lot to do. Sometimes we don't realize how much there's stress around that until it's actually over. And you're like, oh, why am I so tired?
Because you were up here on this adrenaline high,
right?
And anxiety, stress, right? Stress, anxiety, stressing. You're on that roller coaster that you talked about.
Yeah. So recognizing that, it's about organizational skills too, and really giving yourself that grace to plan ahead, maybe get some things on your calendar, set some money aside, decide when you're going to go shopping. That helps to bring your stress level down. It's still going to be a lot of planning, but if you're disorganized in your planning, you're going to feel...
You're going to go right back up there.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I think that I've learned so much in just this short amount of time. And one other thing comes to my mind, though, is I have 4 kids. I have 4 boys. And it's really hard for me to help them manage their emotions. Is there any advice or a tip that you could give me and maybe some of the moms out there watching? If you have boys, I use boys because I feel like boys, it's a lot harder for them to even have an idea how to deal with their emotions.
Yeah.
But is there anything that you could, like any tips that you could give me to help better manage the kids?
I think that sometimes even just especially depending on what ages they are, I think the younger that they are, it helps to kind of call out that emotion when they're like fired up and they're angry about something, like, you seem really angry about that. And they're like, yeah, I'm angry.
Yeah.
And
it's normally not that calm, though. It's normally like a screaming or fighting kind of angry in my house, at least.
But and you can say, I've been angry about this too, and just like giving them that vulnerability and letting them know that, it's okay, but this is how I handled it. Giving them kind of some stories about how you've handled certain things can be very helpful. Now, as they get older, I have a teenage daughter, and sometimes, you have to be a little bit more directive in terms of being assertive with them about what your expectations are, what you want to see in terms of them managing their emotions. And there's a 3-step process to assertiveness that we talk about. The first is sticking with the facts. That takes the emotions out of it.
I like that.
Because we can get really kind of keyed up ourselves as we're talking, and that helps us to kind of stay calm and unflappable during those tough conversations. But then also we do want to use like just one word. If we use too many words, it can be argued with. But if you use one word, they really can't, because nobody can really tell you how you're supposed to be feeling within a certain situation. But then we always forget the third thing. We always say, when you do this, it makes me so mad, and and then we don't say what we are expecting from them. So if you do the 3-step process, it's not a foolproof technique, but you're more likely to get what you want from people if you're expressing your needs to them.
Okay, so the first step again was?
Stick to the facts.
Stick to the facts.
Express one word using your emotions.
Express one word.
And then ask for what you want.
Okay. Well, I love that. And because it puts things in order. And sometimes I feel you get so like tunnel vision with things, especially when your emotions start to take over. And like you mentioned, you didn't mention, but you lose sight of what is important in that given moment. And so if you can just think of those 3 things, or for the kids, which it's for adults too.
Yeah.
And in the workplace and everywhere else, but it really helps put things in place. And I think that even just doing, like you said, one of those things, you're becoming a better person and just trying to be that person and applying one of those 3 things.
Yes.
Which, so if it doesn't work out with that other person, that's okay. And being okay with that. But you can walk away knowing, hey, I know I did my best and I tried to apply something to better the situation.
Yeah, like I said, it's not foolproof. You're going to run into some people
right,
who
and
are
nobody's
going to be
perfect.
just really unreasonable, and or they're not ready to hear that information. They don't have that self-awareness within themselves. And then, like if it's somebody in your job, or if it's someone who's in a leadership position, then sometimes you do have to think, well, what do I need in order to cope with this situation? Do I need to do more self-care? Do I need to focus, not put so much importance on my job as I need to what's really important in my life, and that is caring for my family, or the things that give us our strength to get through our everyday.
What's staying true to who you are and your
Right.
morals and your values, and knowing those things in the moments of these situations that are never comfortable,
Right.
and are always awkward for people. But yeah, so apply Lisa's great tips and check her out on the website, on Facebook. If there is a place that if somebody was interested in hiring you as so do you do private coaching as well? Do you private, or you just do speaking events and like the bigger corporate?
We do speaking events, we do workshops. We also do executive coaching. Some people have hired us individually to do executive coaching, but usually it is their employers that are investing in them for this training and professional development.
Okay.
And they may send like a group of people that they feel are emerging leaders within the company.
Oh, that's
and they want to do some succession planning.
Okay.
To help them think ahead about what they want to become, or where they want to be in the organization.
Okay.
And then we can bring the workshops to the organizations. We do like whole long day workshops on emotional intelligence and stress management.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And if people want to find out how to get a hold of you or to hire you, can you let the folks know where they can do that?
Yes. We have a website. It's www.integratedleader.com, and you can learn all about us. There's 5 consultants. We're all under Steve Anderson, who has mentored us and taught us and given us the tools, because we can't provide those tools to other people without learning about ourselves first.
Right.
And you can also go on my LinkedIn page. I also have a Facebook book page as well for myself and Integrated Leadership Systems. So you can search that out, check it out. Those are the best ways to contact me.
Okay, well, great. Well, thank you so much. I've learned a little bit more, and if you guys are interested, or if you're a business owner, check out Integrated Leadership Systems, because I really feel like it's something that everybody can benefit from. And if you're in the workplace and you take one of Lisa's workshops or you go to one of her speaking events, everything that you learn, you can apply that in your everyday living and your relationships and your family, and become a better version of yourself, like Lisa said earlier in the show. And that's all we have today. Again, this is Healthy Life Designing. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you soon.